All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. You are now watching Permission to Exist, also known as PTE. I am your host, Permission to Exist, and welcome to the channel and welcome to the show. Welcome back to this series, everyone. It's been a couple of months since we've done this installment. But I think it is high time and slightly overdue, especially considering some of the things that have been going on in the news recently regarding this topic. If you are new to this series, Sick and Dangerous Men, covers the problematic issue of male violence in our society against women, girls, children. And not only that, but how it's brought about. We examine their logic, why they think the way that they do, how they come to the conclusions that they do, which ultimately leads them to violence. And unlike anyone else really that I've seen, here on this channel, we try to hold big tech accountable because big tech is responsible for a lot of this. And we're actually going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. But in the meantime, welcome everybody. It's good to see you guys again. It's been a couple months. I know there's a lot going on in the news cycle. We have a lot to talk about, but just not tonight, but coming up soon for sure. But it's good that we're still here, right? I think that's a plus considering it's been about a month. But welcome everyone to the show. Thank you to all of my supporters who support the channel in any way, be that Cash App, Patreon, Super Chatting, or perhaps the easiest and certainly the freest, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to me. And I also really want to give a big shout out to my channel members. I do have a few channel members, so thank you to my channel members. And it is great to have you as members. So welcome everyone to the show. It's good to see you guys. So tonight's topic, we are actually going to be discussing male jealousy. And there is a very specific news story that triggered tonight's show, and we are going to cover it. And I probably should do this with every show, but I feel like tonight is particularly sensitive because it's just so shocking. It's very, 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 very disturbing. They're all disturbing. Every show that we do this, every installment of this show is disturbing, but this one really bothered me, y'all. And we'll talk about it. But before we do, as we do with every installment of this series, I'd like to remind everyone why we're here. We're not here to bash men and just make men feel bad about themselves. It's not what the purpose of the series is. We have a problem. And as you'll see, and probably as you always see, the men that are featured are not who you would necessarily expect. You might have a certain vision in your mind for what type of man does these types of things. But I hope if you've been following the series for this long that you've seen that you cannot profile them. You can't. They're almost impossible to profile. The only way you can profile them is by certain behaviors and characteristics that should get them vetoed out of your life very early. But even then, and we've talked about that too in the series, they are the masters of disguise. So even when you think you've done a proper vetting, you might just be dealing with someone who is wearing an elaborate mask. Okay. So let's remind us all why we are here, and then we will get into the content of tonight's show, okay? It froze for me. Did it freeze for you guys? Can you guys hear me? Let me know because it completely froze on my side. Are you guys still there? Welcome everyone in the chat. If you can hear me, I do see a question. I'll go ahead and answer it while we're figuring out what's going on. But the question was, what happened to the name of your video on the laws of power, aka the Narcissist Handbook? That can y'all hear me? Is anyone there? Okay, let's see. What do we do now? Do we just sit and wait for it to unfreeze? I don't know if I'm still live. Technical difficulties. I'm getting the spinning wheel on my computer now, asking me to reload. Let's see what happens. It looks like we're still live, which is good. Oh, y'all can still hear me. Okay. It was still playing. Okay. Ugh, I don't know what happened, y'all. So let me do this. I apologize if the video played all the way through, but I just want to make sure. So let me play the video again. I don't know what happened just now. And then we'll pick up after that. So apologies for the duplicates. I might pull this live and edit it and make it a video. So let's try that again one more time. Thank you for your patience. Oh, it's StreamYard that's doing this. Hold on. All right, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to play that again and honor the victims, as the chat said. So thank you all so much. And regarding that video that I mentioned, I took it down because I just felt like the quality wasn't very good. So I'm going to try to redo it sometime in the future and then re-upload it. But who knows? If you guys liked it, maybe I'll just put it back public again. But yes, so as we saw, as always, there's a number of cases to share in between the time that we do the installment of the show. And I just find that by itself really, really disturbing. Like, it's not like it's one or two cases that I bring to you, like, oh, look at these one or two, which would still be one or two too many. It's that every time we meet, there's at least 10, 12, 15, 20 different domestic violence stories. And we're not supposed to be worried. We're not supposed to be scared or afraid as women. I don't know what show it was. It was a recent one, though. It was a recent live stream where I said, I don't hate men. I'm severely disappointed in them, and I'm also scared of them. I don't know which one that was, but it was recent, though. It was in like the last month or two. And I meant that. I'm afraid of you because as you look at the different stories when they scroll across your screen, you see doctors, dentists, athletes, chefs, regular people, coaches, uh, pastors. I mean, you name it. Just a regular father of four. You name it. Like, and I hope you guys have caught on to this as well. But I hope you see black, white, Latino, Asian, mixed, back to black, white, Latino, Asian. I hope you're catching on to that. I do hope that that's clocking somewhere. That it's not, oh, look at all these crazy white guys, or oh, look at all these crazy black guys. Nah, it's a mixture. And it's a mixture every single time, too. If you go back in this series, you will see it's a mixture every single time. Every time. And it's a wide range of ages, too. We have everyone from like 19-year-olds all the way up to, they say Jill Biden's ex-husband murdered his wife. Like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? I haven't even really seen that one in the news. I saw it just that one day and then I haven't heard anything about it since. Like, really? So, how are we supposed to vet these men? How? People say, "Oh, don't date the bad boy." I'm here to kind of make the proposition that they might all be bad boys. I can't prove that. But more and more I'm like, are they all bad boys? But I digress. The reason that we're doing the show tonight, the story that really, really got to me and really, really stuck with me is the story of the vice mayor in, I believe it's Coral Gables. Hold on, let me see. She was Coral Springs, excuse me. Let me pull this over and then I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Again, all of these stories bother me, y'all. Every single one of them bothers me, but this one bothers me a lot, a lot. This one hurts me as if, almost as if I knew her personally and I didn't. But she was 38, which is pretty close to my age. Young, successful, rising star, rising political star as well. Apparently, she was getting ready to run for Congress. Beautiful woman. It's devastating, isn't it? Chat says that devastated made me do Instagram. Oh, you did an Instagram story on it. I wish I knew your handle. I'd go look at it. Um, Chat says I heard that people are 60% more likely to be unalived by someone under their roof than by a stranger. Y'all, that's listen, let me deviate real quick. Let me take her picture off because I want to make sure I give her story the proper respect. But as long as I can remember, probably since my college days, I have always been like, I don't think I want to live with anyone else. I have had one roommate in my lifetime since moving out of my parents' house, but I don't really consider my parents roommates. So since once I left my parents' house, I've had one roommate, and that's all that it took for me to say, you know what? I think I'm okay living alone for the rest of my life. Okay. Because it just seems so dangerous. And I think that's such a fitting comment for tonight's topic of jealousy, because we've talked about jealousy on this channel before in a different context. And I will link those videos for everybody once the live stream is over. But jealousy is such a strange and disturbing mental um, hmm, state, I guess you could say. I'm trying to find a better word, but I can't, it's eluding me. But jealousy is very scary, is what I'm trying to say, because there's nothing you can do about it to fix it. So if I say something to offend you, I can apologize to you and then maybe fix our friendship. If I um, was unfair to you in some kind of way, I don't know, maybe I shorted you $1. I don't know. I can pay you back that dollar and fix it, right? Um, there's so many things that I can apologize for. But jealousy is one of those things where you can't apologize for something A, you have no control over, and B, you may not even know they're jealous of. So you're going about your life, just living your life, and they're jealous of some aspect of it, and you don't even know. So to them, every time they see you, every time they interact with you, you're showing off. And you are just living your life because you don't realize this person is jealous of that particular thing about you. And it could be anything. It could be anything. Absolutely. Chat says, and jealousy makes you censor and limit yourself in order to stay safe. Absolutely. You don't want to share your accomplishments. You don't want to share good news. You don't want to share good things that have happened to you, because if you're with someone who's jealous and very fragile on the inside, all that just hits them. You might as well be punching them right in their face or in their gut every time you tell them something good is happening to you, because to them, if they think that you already have had such a great life, and it doesn't have to be true, y'all. It's all about their perception. That's what makes jealousy so dangerous. It's not rooted in reality, it's rooted in what they believe about you. So here they are, they think that you already had this amazing life. So when good things happen to someone who's already had an amazing life in their eyes, it's like salt in the wound. And you just don't know what level someone is willing to take it to kind of cure that jealousy that's within them. So I say all that to say that I had a roommate one time in my life. And after that experience, I said, you know what? I think I'm okay living by myself for the rest of my life. And if that just means that I don't get married and I don't have kids, so be it. If that's how it has to be. So let us continue. Let's talk about the story that really, really devastated me as well. This young woman, this young vice mayor in Florida, Coral Springs, her name was Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen. She was a rising star in the Democratic Party, and she was considering a run for Congress. And from what people are saying about her, she would have made it. She would have absolutely made it to Congress. She was Congress bound. They said that she was very, very concerned with her community. She was passionate about it. She loved helping others. She loved being involved in her city and being involved in her community. Colleagues loved her. Obviously, her friends and family loved her. And she will be dearly missed. And they're devastated. Obviously, they're devastated because this is not like a car accident, which would still be devastating. Or, I don't know, sometimes people get sick, their bodies get sick and give out on them, which would still be devastating. It's not like it was something like that. It was her spouse that did it. And wait till you hear the reason that has been given so far. So let me just read briefly, just to kind of honor her and honor her life a little bit. and expose her wicked spouse as well. A Florida vice mayor, seen as a rising political star, was found dead at her home Wednesday, and her husband was arrested on suspicion of premeditated murder, authorities said. Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen's body was found by police who were conducting a wellness check, the city said in a statement. The Coral Springs Police Department in Broward County has opened an investigation. Metayer Bowen's husband, Stephen Bowen, was arrested following a preliminary investigation, the city said, adding that, quote, it was determined the incident was domestic in nature, end quote, and that there were no additional suspects at this time. The Broward Sheriff's Office website listed Bowen, 40, as in custody and booked on charges of premeditated murder and tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. Bowen is accused of fatally shooting Metayer Bowen and was arrested after concerned officials raised alarm that Metayer Bowen missed scheduled meetings Wednesday and was not responding to messages, according to an arrest affidavit police released Thursday. Before she became vice mayor, Metayer Bowen was the first Black and Haitian American female member of the Coral Springs City Commission. She was first elected in 2020 and then reelected in 2024, according to the city website. Last year, her fellow commissioners appointed her to serve a second term as vice mayor, according to the city website. Okay. So the article does go on a bit, but I just wanted to take a moment to extend my condolences and sympathies to the friends and family members and colleagues of this beautiful, bright, rising young woman who, once again, was taken out at the hands of her domestic partner. And it's upsetting to me for so many reasons, but it's upsetting also because it's just kind of like, oh man, I feel like big tech, who we will circle back to later on in the show, invest a lot of time, effort, energy, and money into promoting content that brings about the direct harm of women and children. Promoting content that makes men believe women aren't real, women aren't worthy of life. I think one of their favorite creators wrote a book called 30 Reasons Women Deserve Less, or something like that. 30 Reasons Women Deserve Less, or something like that. Whole entire ecosystems devoted to degrading, humiliating, belittling, dehumanizing women. And it's monetized and it's promoted by the algorithm. It's pushed out, and it's pushed out to young men, middle aged men, old men. And as we've discussed many times before, men are easily corrupted and easily led. And so the reason he gave for taking the life of his beautiful wife was that, quote, he just couldn't take it anymore. That was the reason. He just couldn't take it anymore. Take what? Take what, sir? And based on everything that I've been reading online, everyone is saying that he was basically jealous of her. Now, which makes a lot of sense. Now, I have not done my due diligence in figuring out like who he is, what he did for a living, what his story was, because honestly, I don't care. He's a scumbag. He's a piece of shit. So I really don't care about his backstory. I'll let all the true crime girlies do that. That's what the true crime girlies do. I'm not a true crime girly. I really don't care about him. But for him to give that as the reason, I just couldn't take it anymore. Take what? Exactly. Chat says all he had to do was leave. Why is that never the option? And the answer to your question is because of pure, raw, uncut unchecked jealousy, not only towards people more successful than he is, but towards women especially. And that, my friends, is the topic of tonight's show. So rest in peace, Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen. I'm so sorry for what happened to you. I wish I could have helped. I wish I could have saved you. I wish. But I promise you that I will do everything in my power to prevent this from happening to anyone else like you again. That's my promise to you and to every victim of domestic violence, featured or not. That's my promise to you. I cannot rest until we bring this to an end and until somebody's held accountable. And to me, that somebody is big tech, but we'll get there. So thank you and rest in peace, Vice Mayor Nancy. Okay, let's talk about this jealousy piece. So here's what's interesting about this. First of all, as I was going through my notes for the show, this was on my mind back in June of 2021. I actually have a note in my Apple Notes dated June 23rd, 2021 at 6:10 p.m. So this has been on my mind for 5 years regarding this topic in this series, okay? And what's interesting about it to me and what always has been is that as a young woman growing up and as a young woman coming up, I never imagined that a man or a boy or a male would be jealous of me for any reason at all. I assumed any and all jealousy would come from other women. And I think that's a reasonable assumption, don't you? Especially as a young girl, and especially growing up in a male dominant in a male dominated patriarchal society. I hate to admit this, but I grew up kind of like revering men in a way. Like I looked up to them. I thought they were amazing. I thought they were great. I thought they were so good at everything, right? You're so good at sports. Oh, you're so good at math. Oh, you're so good at difficult things, right? When we go to the football game on Friday night, people aren't excited about the cheerleaders. I mean, they're happy we're there. We're all having fun. I think a game without cheerleaders wouldn't be fun, but they're not there to see us. They're there to see the boys play. So, and when the boy scores a touchdown, wow, like the crowd goes crazy. So I kind of grew up in a way looking up to men in a way. Like when I and I'm it's sad to admit this, but I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm just telling you the truth. Like when I had an issue or like a real problem or something like that, I would seek out my father before I sought out my mother, which is so insulting now. Looking back is so insulting. But that's how I was though, because my dad was the one who helped me build my bicycle. He's the one who taught me how to ride my bicycle. He's the one who taught me how to use a computer. He's the one who would take me swimming and teach me how to go swimming and like all the fun things. Like, so to me, men were like superheroes almost. So it never dawned on me and it never occurred to me as a young woman growing up that a man would be jealous of me for any reason at all. Any reason. It didn't make sense. It didn't make logical sense to me. And so as I got older, though, I didn't start to see it until I hit college. College is when I actually started to see hints of male jealousy. Not full blown, just little hints, little comments that made me go, huh, well, that was weird. Why would he say that? What a weird thing for him to say. Little comments like, you women think you're all that. Huh? We were 19 at the time. Little comments like, you women just want to be worshiped. Excuse me? Comments like, You women just want people to just, uh, like, it was like little bits and pieces of contempt coming out. And I'm like, where is this contempt coming from? We are 19 years old. We were 19 years old at the time, y'all. We weren't grown. We didn't have bills and mortgages and kids and none of that. We were college kids. We were 19. And it was like, where in the world is he getting this from? So that's when I started to see bits and pieces and hints of it, right? But I didn't truly fully start to see it come out until I hit the workforce. That's when I really started to see male jealousy rear its ugly head. And here's how I used to see it back in the day. There's one person in particular who stands out in mind. And again, the nature of jealousy is such to where you don't know what someone is jealous of. You have no idea. So you don't know what to guard against. You don't know where to edit yourself because you, first of all, you may not even know that someone is actually even jealous of you. You may not even know. So I would say something like, yeah, my car is about 6 years old and I think it's on its last leg. I think I'm going to go ahead and get a new one. And this person I'm thinking of will go, oh, yeah, I get a new car like every year. And me, I'm so like, I guess naive or in the moment. I don't know. I'd be like, dang, you got a lot of money. You get a new car every year. Oh, yeah, 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 I just swap them out. Oh, okay, cool, cool. Well, what do you recommend? Like not even it's not registering anywhere. Okay. Like it's not registering to me that this person is trying to one up me. So then it took a while for it to finally click. So I'd be like, oh my gosh, I applied for that internal role and I can't believe it. I have an interview next week. I'm so excited. And this person would be like, yeah, 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 I've got a couple of interviews coming up too. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, oh, well, who? With who? Because again, clueless. Like, I'm so clueless. I'm very clueless in the moment. It's very easy to catch me off guard in the moment because I'm usually not rooted in the moment. I'm rooted somewhere else. I'm rooted in my house, probably. If I'm actually like at work physically, oh God, my mind is rooted in my house. So I'm not really paying attention. I am, but I'm not. So anyway, it just took a while. And then I started having fun with it. I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get this part-time job and I'm gonna make probably like an extra 30,000. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a job like that before. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's just making stuff up. He's just making stuff up. Like he chats a story of my life. Listen, he I would make something up for fun just to see if he would do it. And that he would always do it. And it had to be bigger and better every time. And that's when it first occurred to me this person might be jealous of me. They're competing with me. They're actually competing with me. And it was crazy to me because, like, I really liked them as a person. Like, I considered them a good friend. I don't compete, y'all. Let's, can we take a thumbtack real quick? Let's just deviate real quick, just real quick. Mm. I don't compete with people. And let me tell you why. I don't compete with people because daily, daily, I am competing with myself. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not stroking my ego. I'm not giving you some woo woo, positive thinking vibe type. I'm actually being serious because I am my best friend and I am also my worst enemy. I hate myself sometimes. I get on my nerves because I do things that make my life more difficult. And it's like, would you just stop? Like, would you stop? Like, it's so hard to explain, but anyone who's ever experienced a similar life experience, I guess you could say, understands exactly what I'm saying. Like, I can't compete with others because I'm busy trying to like put myself in check, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be better than I was last year. Okay. And I'm happy to report that I'm making progress. But like, I can't compete with you until I have conquered myself, is what I'm basically trying to say. And it's been several decades at this point, and I still haven't conquered myself. But we're getting there. We're working on it. We are working on it, and we are making little improvements day by day. Okay. Day by day. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to report that I sorted all of my mail that had been stacked for like a year. I had like a year's worth of mail that just needed to be opened, shredded, thrown away, whatever. And I finally did it this weekend, y'all. So that's what I mean by competing with myself. I can't compete with you because I'm competing with the fact that I don't feel like doing that. And I forced myself to do it, and I'm very proud of myself. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back to the show. Let's get back to the topic at hand. My first experience with jealousy with men was in the workplace. So, what I wanted to do is answer the question, what are they jealous of? Because again, when I think of jealousy, I would only think of it as coming from a woman. But when you start to unpack what these men are actually jealous of, you start to unpack the sickness itself. You start to unpack just how, I guess you could say, degenerate their minds are. Because it's almost like their logic is too simple. Their logic is it's too yes or no, off or on, black or white. And as a result, they come to these conclusions that certainly, if you were a dumb computer, I could see how you came to that conclusion. But you're not a dumb computer. You're a human being. You are a sentient human being. And yet you're not capable of coming to more complex conclusions. Okay. So let's get into some of the things, just a few of the things that they're actually jealous of as it relates to when men are jealous of women. Okay. So let's go. The very first thing, chat says I call them simpletons. Simple. The very first thing that they are jealous of is a woman's beauty. And we need to unpack this thoroughly. Okay. Now, many years ago, there was a song that came out called I Can't Wait by Sleepy Brown and Andre 3000. Some of you will have heard of and heard that song before. Some of you know the lyrics by heart. And then some of you will have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's okay. Because there's a lyric in here. I'm just trying to find it. I'm trying to scroll to it. It's at the beginning of this song. Hold on, let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Okay. Found it. It said, but that lets me know that she's a human being, and being human's hard on the boulevard. Girl, you got it bad. Glad I'm not one, but yet you got it good. You are the hot one. All right. So the lyrics I want you to focus on. Girl, you got it bad. Glad I'm not one, but yet you got it good. You are the hot one. Okay. So what Andre is basically saying in that part of the song is, man, I'm glad I'm not a woman because you got it bad as a woman. However, you have it good because you're the beautiful one, is what he's actually saying in that lyric. In other words, whew, I couldn't be a woman, man. I couldn't do it. Girls got it bad, man. Y'all got it bad. However, as bad as you have it as a woman, you got it good because you are the beautiful one. You're the beautiful one. You don't get it. You don't actually get it. You don't understand. I believe I'm not laughing. I promise. Y'all know I'm a goofball, okay? And I'm doing my best to stay focused and serious. But I believe most men grow up b- believing that they are like grotesque gremlins. And I mean that. Like, I believe most men, not all, but I believe a lot of men feel like wretched and grotesque when they look in the mirror. I strongly believe that with everything I have in my heart. And I think it starts young. I think it starts when they're young boys. I think they determine at an early age, oh my God, I'm ugly. And then they also assess at a very young age, she's pretty, all the she's. She over there and she over there and her over there too. They're all pretty and I am a wretched, grotesque, like swamp creature or something. And I think that that messes with their minds more than they would ever admit, you guys. I think they're very insecure about their looks. I think they're deeply insecure about their looks, most of them, almost all men. And it's because they're not women. So it's almost like they believe they're ugly because they're not women. Does that make sense? Chat says the need to feel special has a strong link to psychopathy. That's part of it too. So chat says, I think they're jealous of the attention women get from men. We'll save that second part for later. But that too, they're jealous of the attention that women get. And they're jealous of the societal expectation that a man is to approach a woman. So imagine waking up every day feeling like a grotesque swamp creature, and you, with your grotesque self, have to go approach the most beautiful creature on planet Earth. And you have to try to present yourself as an acceptable choice to the most beautiful creature on planet Earth. And if she rejects you or if she laughs at you, well, then that just makes the whole situation 10 times worse. Do you understand? So, anyway, they are jealous of women's beauty. It's almost like how unfair. How unfair. You got to be the pretty one. Imagine like a twin sibling set, a boy and a girl born fraternal, or I guess they could be identical. It actually doesn't matter. They could be identical or fraternal twins. And you one day as a small child wake up and realize, oh my God, I'm the boy. No fair. Are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? I'm the boy, she's the girl. And then, like, as you're growing up, you're looking at your sister not in a sexual or romantic way. You're just looking at her from an objective standpoint, like, she's so pretty. And here I am. I'm a boy. Like, why does she get to have the long, pretty hair? Why does she get to wear the jewelry? Why does she get to wear the makeup and the shoes and the pretty dresses? Why does she get to make her room all pretty? Like, it's almost like, no, it's almost like I feel like they wake up and they go, no, 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 I'm not a boy. No, 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 I'm not a boy. I'm not a boy. And there's no way I'm a boy. There's no way. There's no way God did that to me. There's no way that God put me into the body of a male. There's no way. And I believe the root of all this violence, that's one of them. That's one of the strong roots, the anger at being born male. Chat says, is this how we got clavicular? Yes, it is. Yes, yes, it is. And for those who may not know who clavicular is, he's one of the popular influencers right now in the red pill manosphere arena. He's only 19 years old, but allegedly has made himself infertile because he started taking steroids around age 14 because he was trying to bulk up and make himself more attractive. And he says this out loud. He's like, your biggest social capital is how you look. So he's investing into how he looks because he believes that's the most important thing, beauty. So, in addition to taking steroids, allegedly, he also hammers his face. So he gets a hammer and he hammers his jawline I guess like lightly, but also hard enough for it to kind of hurt a little bit. And with the idea being that the bone will start to kind of like how your foot will develop a bunion to protect it from whatever it is you're doing with your feet. Like same thing. It's almost like a bunion for your jaw. And so he hammers his face to kind of make his jaw more prominent and squared off because that's more attractive. And in his mind, beauty is the most important thing that there is. Did we do an episode or a series called Shallow? I don't know that. I feel like we did, but I also feel like maybe not. Or maybe we've just, it's been almost 10 years. So maybe we've talked about it over the course of these 10 years, but they're very shallow, very, very surface level. That's why you really shouldn't ever judge yourself. You should not judge your appearance based on male opinion because men are very shallow. And most of them also hate themselves. So they're going to pick you apart because they hate themselves. So do not judge yourself based on anything other than how you want to look for yourself. And that's it. You are the creator and the scorer of your report card, and that's it. So anyway, beauty first and foremost. It's almost like being born in the male form to this type of male is a curse. How could you make me ugly? How could you make me the ugly one? Yeah, I heard he got arrested recently. How could you make me the ugly one? How unfair. So it's almost like part of the punishment that they're determined to put onto women deals with the fact that they feel like it's incredibly unfair that they were given a form that for the most part they can't do anything about, y'all. And also a huge part of that is height, which is almost a separate category, but it fits here. And here's why it fits. Height, how tall you are, fits into beauty because a woman can be beautiful when she's 4'11" or 5'11". But a fully grown man at 4'11" is going to have a lot of problems in this life. And it's unfortunate and it's not fair. It's very unfair. He would have been better off being a 4'11" woman because she's still going to get dates all day. She might get more dates than anyone else being that short. But the 5'11" woman's going to get dates too because now we're in supermodel territory. So the woman is beautiful at every range and at every height, whereas the man really has to if you come in at 4'11", you really got to work on yourself and your personality and how you dress and all the things, your career, because that's a rough ride right there. Okay. But beauty first and foremost. They are jealous of a woman's beauty. They're jealous of what your beauty makes them do. They're jealous of how your beauty makes them behave. They're jealous at how they're jealous at how your beauty, I think I'm actually getting ahead of myself. Let's see. They're jealous, I'm going to skip ahead. They're jealous at how your beauty can garner assistance. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say your car breaks down on the side of the road. So you're out, you got your hood open, you're trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what happened and fix your car, right? Because you're a woman and because you might be beautiful, you might get multiple people to stop to offer to help you. And I promise y'all, I'm not laughing. I just can't control myself because my sense of humor is always present and I'm always having to corral it. Okay. But conversely, if you're a man and your car breaks down on the side of the road and you pop the hood, if you look scary, and sometimes you don't even have to look scary. Sometimes all you have to be is a man, and you'll get fewer people stopping to help you. You might get that one guy who just loves cars, pull over and be like, "Hey man, broke down, you need some help?" You know, that uncle who's always got like a wrench in the back of his car. You know what I'm talking about? Or a tire pump, like he's always ready. You might get one of those pull over to help you because that's just what they like to do. Sorry, I need to switch chairs, y'all. Hold on. Oh, need to switch chairs. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to pull this live and edit it. Okay. Oh, so much better. Okay. A woman might get 10 offers of help. A man might get one or two. You understand? Absolutely. Chat says they think we women have it easy. They think we live life on easy mode, and they couldn't be more wrong, but they also won't listen to what we're trying to tell them. So let them believe whatever they want to believe. That's why nobody will stop you to help you with your car. Because so many of y'all are so mean that it's dangerous, actually, because it could be a setup. Now, in fairness, a woman could be a setup. That has happened before. A woman is pretending to be in distress. Someone pulls over to help her. They get ambushed and like robbed or something. It does happen, right? But all things considered, pretending that there's no criminal or weird criminal activity going on, the woman is going to get 10 offers of help. The man might get one or two. Okay? They think we live life on easy mode. And they think it's for reasons like that, right? Additionally, along the lines of assistance, because remember, we're answering the question, what are they jealous of? We've covered beauty. Now we're on assistance and we're going to go back. They think that like if a woman is homeless, people will be more inclined to open their doors to a homeless woman than a homeless man, right? And they may not necessarily be wrong, but again, they got to stop and ask themselves the question, why? Why would people be more inclined to take in a homeless woman than a homeless man? What is the reason for that? Could it be a track record of men doing really heinous things to people who try to help them? Could it be he's homeless due to his own actions? He can't live with anyone peacefully, so they put him out. You see, there's a million reasons, but they believe in their mind that a woman can receive assistance faster than a man. Faster. And keep in mind, they believe all of this while we live in a patriarchy. Okay? All of this is occurring in the midst of a patriarchy. So there's that. So let's go back now. So we did beauty. Often they're jealous of a woman's strength. And what I mean by that is a woman can go through so much, and still be standing, still wake up every day, still wash her face every day, still get dressed, go to work. If she has kids, she'll take care of her kids, still taking care of her house, no matter what size it is. If it's a little 1-bedroom studio apartment, if it's a 4 or 5 bedroom house or anything in between, she's doing the best she can to take care of it. She keeps going in spite of what she's been through. That resilience and that, yep, chat said it as the same at the same time. It says they hate our resilience. That resilience, that strength, that ability to keep going in spite of great odds and great obstacles, they are extremely jealous of that, you guys. And the reason is because men, a lot of men, in spite of their outward appearance, are very fragile on the inside. So they fold quickly. One disappointment, they fold, sometimes for life, y'all. And I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. One disappointment, one lost championship game, one breakup, one no in the past, it will fold them and collapse them for life because they got told no back in elementary school and they still remember it. Yes, they're jealous of ugly women. You want to know why they're jealous of ugly women? Chat asked, are they jealous of ugly women? They're jealous of ugly women because an ugly woman is still going to be able to acquire more resources than an ugly man. Okay? If it came down to it, I hate to use this example, but I think it's a perfect example. You got an ugly woman and an ugly man. They're both selling their bodies consensually for money and not under pressure or duress. They're doing it because they want to. That ugly woman is going to pull in 10 times more money than that ugly man. Period. Period. Because that'll be somebody's kink. They just want to screw an ugly chick just to see what it's like. But he's over here selling his and nobody wants it. She's ugly. Whew, she's got a face that only a mother could love. She's selling it and she's getting so many offers. She has to open a Calendly account and ask them to book time on her schedule according to the available calendar blocks because she's so busy. Okay? That's why. Because, and I don't even know if that's really true, but that's how they see it. She, as an ugly woman, is going to be able to pull and acquire more resources than me as an ugly man, period. I don't care how ugly she is. Think of the ugliest woman you know. She's still going to pull more than an ugly man. Okay? Unless he's rich, unless he has a lot of money. That's kind of the only caveat. But he's got to have a lot of money and he's got to be generous with it too. Okay? All right, let's move on. Options. So what I mean by options primarily is speaking to sexual options because that's all they ever think about. That's all that's important. That's all that matters. How much sex can you get? And they believe that if a woman is not actively having sex, it's because she doesn't want to. And I would honestly say they may not necessarily be wrong. But my point is, they know that most women, ugly or not, can download a dating app tonight, upload a couple of random pictures, and have offer after offer after offer. Offer after offer after offer after offer after offer. They can do the same thing and it'll be crickets all night long. And they're jealous of that. I can't tell you how many men I've heard say when they're asked the question, if you were a woman for a day, what would you do? You know how many of them basically say that they would find as many men to sleep with that they could in that day? And that's basically what they would spend their day doing, having sex with men all day. If they were women for a day, basically they would be whores, basically. I mean, like, what? Y'all, if my son thought this way, if I had a son and I found out that he thought this way, I would have to have a long sit down conversation with him and let him know that if he didn't get his mind right and if he didn't get his mind together, that I was going to disown him. Because I wouldn't be able to take ownership over something that stupid in my house. And knowing that I grew it in my womb and nourished it through my body and gave birth and brought it to the world, and you're this dumb. Like, I would be so remarkably disappointed. I wouldn't even be able to put it into words. I might run away as a mom. I might be one of those runaway moms, like that lady they just caught. She ran away like 25 years ago and they caught her recently. Because I couldn't claim that. I wouldn't be able to take ownership over that. I'm sorry. Like, God damn, you're dumb. But that's what they think. So if that's what they would do all day if they were women, what do they think you're doing? That's what they think we're out here doing all day, y'all. Because that's what they would do if they were women. It all is just centered around and like boils down to sex. It's so lame and it's so boring and it's so basic. I'll never fully understand. All right, we covered assistance. They're jealous of your success. Now listen. Whew. This one is high up there too. I probably should have put success higher up there, closer to beauty, because this one matters a lot too. But they are jealous of primarily your academic achievements, number one. So like if you actually graduated from high school, they're jealous of that. If you went to college, they're jealous of that. If you went to like a trade school like cosmetology or barbering or something like that and finished and got your license, they're jealous of that. Nail tech, they're jealous of that. Um, they're jealous, certainly jealous if you go and get like a master's or a PhD, something like that. And they've told us as much, have they not? How many times have they come on the internet saying, we don't care about your degrees. You women need to stop focusing on your education, blah, 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 all the time with it, all the time. And it's primarily because they are extremely jealous of your achievements. And that's kind of what I hate to say inspired the show, but the vice mayor whose husband took her life, he was jealous of this woman was getting ready to run for Congress. Probably, and she was so young, she probably could have had a presidential trajectory, to be honest with you. I don't know much about her career politics, what I mean. But if she's running for Congress at age 38, she's got plenty of time to become president. Decades from now, she could be president. What a trajectory, you know? And it's like he just couldn't handle being that small next to her. He couldn't handle being the vice mayor's husband versus him being the vice mayor. You understand? Chat says success is the top one. I think you might be right. I think I might agree. They can't take it, y'all. A lot of them are jealous at the fact that you can read, and a lot of them are jealous at the fact that you can write. And I'm not kidding. The fact that you know how to read. And it pisses me off so much because it's kind of like for everything that our ancestors went through, you won't even honor them by learning how to read, sir. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there was a period of time where we weren't allowed to read or we weren't allowed to be taught how to read. It was kept from us. So we would remain ignorant and dumb and easily led because we don't understand words and things like that. It was purposely kept from us. So now that we're allowed to learn how to read, and there's all kinds of resources to support that effort, and you just won't bother in this year of 2026, like I'm so I'm bothered by that. And I'm sorry, like at some point, we can no longer say, well, I'm talking about all men, but I guess because I'm a Black woman, I deal primarily with Black men. But at some point, we can't say, oh, the white man prevented me from reading. No, he didn't. He did back in the day. That's a fact. Yes, he did. He purposely kept his slave population illiterate, did not need the slaves knowing how to read. And that alone, how incredibly annoying StreamYard. It looks like it's back. Y'all let me know if you can hear me. It just buffered really hard on my side. So on that note, y'all, I'll leave the live stream up for about 24 hours. And then I'm probably going to take it down, edit all this foolishness out, and then upload it as a video. So I just want to let you guys know if you see it as a video, that's what happened, okay? Can y'all just confirm for me that you can still hear me in the chat? Let me see if I can check on my side. Oh, there's a commercial. Well, welcome everyone. While we're taking a brief intermission to sort these tech issues, let's see what we got. Oh, this thing is all the way at the beginning. Oh, great. Okay, we're still there. Perfect. Wonderful. Let's keep going. In the chat, it says independence is top 2. And I can't believe I left independence off of the list. I can't believe I left it off, but it certainly should be there. Success, our independence, the fact that we've found a way to survive in a world that really wasn't designed for us to survive on our own. It was really designed for women to be dependent upon men to live. So the fact that we're making it, and even before they changed the laws and things, we were still quietly making it in our own way, in our own special way. But now, oh man. And because you know what I think it is, y'all? And I touched on it somewhere. We all kind of launched from the same launch pad, STEM universities or whatever. But I'm talking about like 80s and 90s babies. We all launched from the same launch pad. So we all really should be achieving relatively the same things. And the fact that there's this wide gap between what the girls achieved and what the boys achieved, they'll never get over it, y'all. They're not going to get over it. Like, and honestly, it doesn't make sense because, like, for example, myself, I didn't go to a special school. I wasn't in a private school. I was in an American public school. I didn't have what are they called? I guess gifted classes or advanced placement is what they used to call them. I didn't have advanced placement classes, anything like that. I was just a regular student in school with the same people who now our lives are dramatically different. I mean, dramatically different. And it's just like, what happened? How did we end up this far apart from each other? Because if we were this far apart, then to me that means we were never that close together to begin with. And if that's the case, it starts to raise questions like, what is really going on with how boys and girls are being raised? Because the disparity is too wide, the gap is too big. It doesn't make sense. Okay. So let's move on. Let me make sure we're still cooking with hot grease. Looks like it. So let's move on. Yeah, we are. Okay. All right. The next thing that they're incredibly jealous of, and I believe this is at a spiritual level, is the fact that women can give birth. There's going to be a lot of debate about, whose seed it is. Is it the woman's seed? Is it the man's seed? Oh, well, without the man's seed, you can't have a baby, and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. But here's the fact of the matter. Sure, I need your seed, but if we didn't have anywhere to put the seed in this egg, we wouldn't have a baby. So the fact that a woman can house a life in her body for almost a year, give birth to it, survive it for the most part, because we know in America, giving birth is one of the more dangerous things that you can do as a woman, but survive it for the most part and live to tell the tale. And the baby she gave birth to lives to tell the tale. It's like, it's creepy, it's stunning, it's amazing, it's scary, it's all the things. And instead of falling on their face in worship, they want to rebel. Now, why do you want to rebel against the life giver? Why you want to rebel against the life givers? I just don't understand. I think what also bothers them, and this kind of taps on the abortion topic, is the fact that truly a woman decides whether or not you live or die. She really does. And I know that y'all don't like to think about it that way. No one likes to think about it that way, but it's true. A woman decides whether or not you live or die. Because the fact that y'all think that abortion is new and only a modern invention is cute. It's very cute that you think that. So women have been deciding whether or not people live or die since the dawn of time. And I think that's very frightening. It's a frightening prospect to be a male child and realize, wow, my mom didn't actually have to have me. She chose to have me. She chose to keep me and birth me, but she didn't have to. She actually could have killed me. Or shortly after I was born, she could have killed me. She let me live. You understand? Anything that lets you live almost acquires a godlike status. Almost. If something has the power to let you live, then is that not a god? To to some degree? I don't know. It's up for debate. All I'm saying though is that I believe that they're jealous that they didn't get the same opportunity basically. That it wasn't evenly split, right? Like you get with a man, you get married, whatever, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And sometimes he gets pregnant and sometimes you get pregnant. That would be fair, right? Because then they could say, "Oh, you're not special. We have babies too. You're not special. We have babies too. I'm just like you, girl. I can have a baby too." Imagine if nature had decided to do it that way. Sometimes the man gets pregnant, sometimes the woman gets pregnant. It's anyone's guess. It's a toss up. I think they find it unfair that they weren't given the opportunity and that they can do anything else almost that a woman can do except give birth to a child. I think that really, really grinds their gears. They can do almost anything a woman can do except give birth. It's the one thing. So they spend all their time trying to figure out how they're going to bypass the woman. And they've been using like sheep uteruses and like, of course, they're going to try to bring AI into it and robotics. And like they're trying all kinds of weird experiments to try to see if they can bypass the woman and just make human life without having to involve her. Woo! They are some jealous queens, honey. Listen to me. Let's move on. So now, I want to move you all into the next phase of this presentation. So, in the description box, and those of you who are on the mailing list, I said that I have a theory, another theory about what is the root of their jealousy. Okay, so we just covered a lot, we just touched on a lot, and all of that is true and all of that is valid. But this theory is a little bit more modern. And I think it's what's driving a lot of the modern issues that we're having today. Okay. So we've covered all the other things: beauty, our options, the assistance that we get, our life giving force, independence, our strength and resilience, things of that nature. Okay. Um, and our success. Okay. But what is driving the modern jealousy of the modern male? And here is what I believe it is. I believe the modern male at large is unemployable. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that. So, what's driving the jealousy of the modern male is that a good number of them are unemployable. And here's what I mean by that. In general, to be employable, you have to have good communication skills, an even temperament, critical thinking skills, the ability to learn, good judgment, good work ethic. You have to be respectful towards others. You have to have some organization skills. Additionally, you need impulse control. Oops, I put organization on there twice. Whoopsie. You need long term planning skills. You need to be dependable, honest, trustworthy, and you need to have a degree of literacy. Okay? So, hear what I'm saying to you. The modern male, think about the modern male as we've been discussing them in this series. Imagine imagine trying to employ this person, okay? Someone who's always arguing with his family or his wife or his friends. How can that same man then be a good employee? He doesn't have good communication skills. Someone who's moody and temperamental and all over the place. One day he's in a good mood, the next day he's in a bad mood. One day he might punch a wall. One day he might push his office chair and kick over his desk or something because he's mad. You know, how is that going to make a good employee? We've already talked about earlier in the show this lack of critical thinking, how they come to these super simple conclusions because they can't think deeper or more deeply or in a more nuanced way towards a subject. That is not somebody you want working for you, because that means that if something is happening, they won't be able to apply their critical judgment in the moment because their brain is so simple. And if you don't train them to think critically like you need them to, they are a liability, a risk, and a hazard to you and your business. So you can't, they don't think critically. If they did, there would be no red pill. Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, I know we're getting in there deep, so let's back up a little bit. What are men jealous of as it relates to women? We've covered a bunch of other theories. Here is my theory as to one of the main reasons they are jealous today. They are unemployable. That's how I got here. All right. The ability to learn. How many of you have been in relationships with one of these men where you have pleaded your case over and over and over again? And it's like he just doesn't get it. It doesn't click. It doesn't stick. That's called learning. When something clicks and when something sticks, that's called learning. You learn something, and it's supposed to produce a change in behavior. And if you don't have that ability to learn, then you're only ever going to be good for one thing. So hopefully I've only hired you for that one thing because I can't teach you to do anything else. We covered good judgment. All right. But to kind of go with that a little bit, are you the type of person who is going to embarrass us on the weekends? Are you going to go do something that's going to make national news? And now we have to play cleanup for what you were out here doing on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to exercise good judgment, sound judgment, strong work ethic. I can't tell you how many lazy males I work with right now, you guys. Oh my God. It's stunning. All I can ever think to myself is, how has this person lived this long? And how is this person going to be successful into the future? Because they are lazy. Like, oh my God, wow. Like they're the type of lazy to where they're always going to need a roommate. They're always going to need somebody else there with them, because I don't think that they would remember to feed themselves, wash their own clothes, clean up from time to time, take the trash out. I don't think they would remember to do any of those things. Like they just wake up and they're alive, and that's it. But they have no work ethic whatsoever, no follow through, no introspection, nothing. They just exist and collect a paycheck. They are so lazy. And I'm like, I thought this was the logical gender that always needs to be the leader. But you're so lazy, you can't even perform your own work. Anyway, respectful. You need to be respectful towards other people. You may not like them, but you got to respect them. Men like these, people like these, really, but we're talking about men this evening, are the reason that we have so many anti-harassment trainings every year. The reason you have to take annual anti-harassment training, sexual harassment training, what else is the other big one? Code of ethics trainings. The reason you have to do that every year is because there's a lot of people who do not know how to act, and they don't know how to be respectful towards other people. They don't. So they really struggle with that. So they literally have to be reminded all the time, you're not employable. I'm sorry. Okay. Organization is on the next page. So let's go there. Impulse control. You can't go punching walls at work. You can't be inviting your coworkers out to the parking lot for a fist fight at work because he insulted you. You understand what I'm saying? The ability to control your emotions and your impulses. The thing that women get accused of all the time is actually what men really, really suffer with and struggle with: impulse control. This also relates to gambling as well. Things like gambling, things like that. You want someone like that working for you? They can't control those impulses. You understand? By the way, I heard or read recently that women tend to suffer from dementia in their later years because they suppress so much in their younger years. So, in other words, all those thoughts and emotions that women actually suppress so we don't come across as emotional ends up basically eating our brain later because we just kept stuffing it and stuffing it. So it's almost like our brain is like, okay, I must be broken because I feel this thing, but she's not expressing it. I'm telling her this thing and she's not acting on it. I'm telling her she's not in a safe situation and she's still staying here. So maybe I'm broken. So I'm just going to go ahead and power down. That's what I read recently, y'all. So get it off your chest in a controlled way and not at work. But I bring that up to say we get accused of being the emotional ones, yet we're the ones suffering from dementia later in life from all the things that we didn't say and all the emotions that we didn't express. So it's something to think about. Um, okay, organization skills. So, how many of you all follow creators like on TikTok and stuff or the YouTube compilations where they're talking about like how their husband, they can't leave their house for even a weekend because their husband doesn't know what to do in terms of cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, running their schedules, their routines. That's organization, that's executive function. So, if you don't have that, how can you be a good employee? How can I how can I employ you? If you're not dependable, if you don't even write people back or text people back, how can I employ you? These character traits carry over. You see what I'm saying? Honesty speaks for itself. If you're a liar, how can you be a good employee? You know what I mean? If you're not trustworthy, how can you be a good employee? And if you can't read, write, speak, or spell, honey, what am I going to do with you? So I say all this to say, this is all part of one long thesis statement, which is there are a large number of men today who are jealous of women for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons I personally believe they are jealous of women today is because a good portion of today's modern male or modern males are unemployable. You can't employ them. You hire them, you say, okay, here's your training. You have 3 days to complete your onboarding and then 3 days to complete your training. You come check in on them at the end of the 6th day. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I ain't get started yet. What? Absolutely. Chat says that sounds utterly exhausting to be raising another adult. Absolutely. Especially an able bodied, capable adult, an able bodied, healthy, capable adult. But it's kind of like you can't, like, you cannot inspire them towards greatness. And believe it or not, it's not a generational thing, you guys. People always try to blame like the younger generations, like, oh, Gen Z is so lazy. The millennials are so lazy. This is universal. It's all across the board, all the way up to the retirement ages. It's like they just don't want to do anything. Like it's actually really surprising to me because as a woman, I'm very busy and like very active. I'm always like doing something. So to meet men who don't really want to do anything, it's so boring. Like that's a friend of mine and I joke about this all the time. We joke about the fact that we don't want to be in a relationship because all men ever want to do is go sit around somewhere. They want to go sit around at the football game. They want to go sit around at the basketball game. They want to go sit around at the sports bar or sit around at the golf course, or I guess walk around. Like they always just want to go just do nothing. Chat says they're so goddamn boring. They're kind of boring, y'all. They want to go sit at the movies. Hey, what you want to do this weekend? Oh, I don't know. Well, let's go to the movies and go to dinner, which is cute, right? That's cute. Okay, you're going on your little date with your boo. That's cute. Y'all are gonna go get some food and you're going to the movie. That's really cute the first couple of times. But after like the 30th time you've caught dinner in a movie, you're not bored yet. Like I would rather build an at-home like theater with you. Like to me, that would be more enriching. Like, let's buy a projector, let's get a screen, let's get like some really nice chairs that are very like movie theater like, and like let's decorate and then like let's rent a bunch of movies. Like to me that's more to me that's more fun than getting dressed, getting in the car, going to sitting at somebody's restaurant, eating. Then you get up, you leave, you go, you sit in somebody's movie theater. The movie is mid at best, and you go home and probably have some little tired ass sex. How boring. I can think of a million other things I would rather do than that. The only exception I'll make is if I have like a really, really big crush on the guy. Like if I really, 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 really like him, and I don't care what we're doing, we could watch paint dry. But that's rare. That's rare. I have other things to do. I'm busy. Okay. So that is my theory. I think a lot of them are jealous of us today because they're unemployable and they just lack these. Think about how they behave in relationships and then take how they behave in relationships and apply it to the workforce. And what you will find is that most people won't hire them because they're just not good people. And they're liabilities to the organization. They always want to do things their way. They sometimes have a tough time following rules. And sometimes those rules are stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the company is always right. I'm saying the basics, the employment basics, they are often lacking, y'all. Like when y'all have to take those pre-employment tests before they hire you, I know sometimes you take them and you're like, this is so stupid. Why would they give this to me? Like, do they think I'm dumb? It's not that they think you're dumb. It's that they know dumb is out there and they're just trying to like filter it, if you will. So that should let you know the level. The pre-employment test they give you should let you know the level of the dumb that they've had to deal with over the past couple of years. Okay? All right. So I have one final thing to share with you guys, and then we will wrap it up and we'll get on out of here. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking with me, especially through the the technical difficulties, which we haven't had in a while. It's weird that they're making an appearance again. Chat says they lack depth. Oh, you have no idea. Shallow. They're shallow. They're shallow bimbos. They are the shallow bimbos they accuse everyone else of being. Chat says they know dumb is out there. Listen, dumb is out. They know it's out there. They don't think it's out there. They don't believe it's out there. They know it's out there. So they just give it to you to see, are you one of the dumb, or can they actually, trust you with things? All right. So final thing that I'm going to share, and then we are going to wrap the show up. I appreciate all of you being here with me this evening and everyone on the playback squad who will come through later on this evening and tomorrow morning. I appreciate every single one of you. Okay. Now, circling back to an idea I had earlier in the show, or a thought I shared. Big tech is responsible for a lot of this stuff. Okay? And if there's one thing I would like to be able to figure out how to do, is how to get the message out to these families when they lose loved ones in these tragic ways, that as part of their legal proceedings, they need to have the records of the perpetrator subpoenaed so they can trace the history of what this person was consuming prior to the crime. And here's why. What they will find more often than not is that the person has a heavy diet of misogynistic content, content that makes them basically see women as ops and less than animals, like subhuman. Okay. So, and when you pair that with a likely learning deficit, so you have someone with a learning deficit and probably some sort of antisocial personality disorder mixed in, then you feed them an algorithmic, steady diet of content that makes them believe the other gender, the other sex is their enemy and needs to be destroyed. And then they finally act on that. Big tech needs to be held responsible for that. Big tech needs to be held responsible for basically creating, I almost want to say like not sleeper cells per se, but something very similar to that. Ticking time bombs, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're taking people who are not able to consume this information and treat it as entertainment. They are treating it as factual information that needs to be acted upon. And they're monetizing it and they're making the people pushing it very, 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 very rich. So women and children continue to be harmed because it's reinforcing this mindset in these sick men that women and children are supposed to be harmed. So one day, big tech will be held responsible for this. One day, the family of one of these victims will figure that out and they will sue TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all of them, Instagram, even potentially, for feeding the perpetrator a steady diet of information that made them act out in a way that is unhealthy. And I'll put it to you like this: if they can hold AI accountable for making people do insane things, then they can do the same for big tech and what big tech is causing these young males to do all over the world. Okay, because here's why: when you're a young man and you don't have any guidance, then you see all these people online talking about this stuff, and it makes it seem normal, basically. Like, it makes it seem like everyone thinks like me. Look, there's 20,000 comments with people agreeing with me. You see what I'm saying? It normalizes it. And then he doesn't think he's weird. He's confused as to why he's getting arrested. He thought everyone thought that way. Someone did sue Meta and won, but it was because she sued for addiction, basically, because they addicted her to the product. And she won too. But I say all that to say that Brazil is making strides in this area. Shout out to Brazil. I wanted to share the story with you guys, and I think big tech should be concerned. That's why I bring them up, because Brazil has established a penalty of up to 5 years. Well, the way they wrote it is interesting. For interrupting a woman. That's not, let's move on. The Brazilian Senate approved this Wednesday a bill that incorporates misogyny into the Racism Act, equating it to other forms of discrimination. The initiative establishes sentences of between 2 and 5 years in prison, in addition to severe fines for those who engage in behavior considered to be hate or aversion to women. The vote garnered broad support with 67 votes in affirmative and none against, reflecting a strong political consensus in the upper house. However, the measure still needs to be debated in the Chamber of Deputies, where its final approval and possible drafting changes will be defined. The project introduces the status of women as a specific criterion within anti discrimination legislation, together with factors such as race, color, religion, or origin. Until now, cases of misogyny were treated under figures such as defamation or injury with significantly lower penalties, not exceeding 1 year in prison. Among the main drivers of the initiative is Senator Soraya Thronick, who defended the need to advance tougher legislation. As he argued, the country registered nearly 7,000 attempts at femicide during 2025, which evidences, in his opinion, the seriousness of the problem. In addition, okay, is this a man or a woman? Because first they said he, then they said she. I think it's a woman. In addition, she warned of the proliferation of digital communities that promote hate speech against women and the need to develop censorship mechanisms. I know we don't like that word censorship, but when the content that we're not censoring leads to people's death, I think that we need to have a conversation about censorship. I do. However, the initiative also generated criticism within the Senate itself. And that criticism is basically they don't want it to be part of the Racism Act. They want it to be part of a different act to avoid possible overlaps or legal ambiguities. And it goes on and on and on, right? But shout out to Brazil. That's huge. This is translated, so I don't know that this is what they meant to say. Penalties of up to 5 years for interrupting a woman. I don't think this is a correct direct translation, but basically they're making misogyny illegal in Brazil, basically. Basically. And what's going to happen is in Brazil, all these podcasts that are degrading women and dehumanizing them, those are basically going to be outlawed. And what's going to happen, because I know how tech companies operate, is they don't like to do things twice. So if they have to change their whole entire platform to prevent users in Brazil from being misogynistic psychopaths on it, they're going to change it for everybody because they're not going to do it one by one and they're not going to do it on a case by case basis. They're like, we have to overhaul this infrastructure to support this new law, so we might as well overhaul it for everyone. So I say that to say that we might see a day where it actually becomes illegal to advocate for the abuse and the mistreatment and the dehumanization and the terrorism of women. It might actually become illegal to do that online one day. It might. And I know there'd be a ton of pushback because that is some people's bread and butter. Can you imagine? Their bread and butter is making women less safe in the world. Well, aren't you a big man? How did you make all your money, Daddy? Oh, by making women like your mom and your sister less safe in the world. Awesome. Aren't you a winner? I'm sure your mother is proud. But anyway, I say that to say that it's coming. It's going to take a little while. There'll be a lot of resistance in the United States because they love nothing more than telling women how much they hate them in this country. But it's going to come to a conclusion because I'm telling you, all it's going to take is one of these attorneys to figure out. Because let me back up for a second. The reason they haven't made this connection yet is because a lot of these attorneys are not technologically savvy like that. They're not online like that. They're not reading the news. They don't know what's going on like that, right? So they don't know that there's this whole red pill community. I did see that documentary. I didn't see the documentary, but I heard of that documentary by Louis Theroux, Inside the Manosphere. Let me know if you guys want me to review that. But from what I've heard, it's not very revolutionary. It's done great work to expose the manosphere. But he didn't, from what I was told and from the reviews that I've heard, he didn't really like unpack their logic. It's more like he was just shining a spotlight on it, which I do consider to be good because more people heard about it that had never heard about it, y'all. It's been going on for almost 20 years now. They had no clue that some of their sons and daughters were involved in this mess and that their sons primarily were being influenced. They had no idea because people aren't online like that. They're doing other stuff. They're watching TV. They're going to the movies. That's what they're doing and having dinner. They're not online like that. So I'm happy that he exposed it, but let me know if y'all want me to review that documentary and I will. But I have not seen it yet. But anyway, I say that to say these attorneys have not yet pieced together the absolute payday associated with a subpoena of the records of these perpetrators and connecting that to big tech and their algorithms and how their algorithms basically talked them into it. Basically, chat says that documentary felt like a grift, but I guess it's good people are learning about it. That's kind of what I heard. Like I didn't think I'd see anything in there that I hadn't seen already. But I am glad that the word is getting out. Kind of like that movie with that little boy. I forgot his name though. I forgot the name of the movie. But it was like that British movie where it was like one shot and they followed him around with a camera. I forgot the name of that movie. But anyway, any awareness is good awareness, yes. But it's coming. So some smart attorney will hop on that. And after a couple of multi-million-dollar settlements and payouts, YouTube will change their algorithm. They'll change it because they'll get tired of being sued by the families of these victims because you can't keep doing this. You can't keep making life unsafe for approximately one half of the population. Thank you for this super chat. Viva Survivor says, PTE, will you please link the vid for the Narcissist Playbook in the description? Many thanks for defending women. I surely will. And I have to double check to make sure I didn't take it down completely. If I did, I'll have to load it to my archive channel. I do have an archive channel, y'all. And if I do that, I'll link the videos that are in the archive channel in the description box on this video, if that makes sense. Or just email me and I'll just send it to you directly, okay? Permission to exist at gmail.com. And the 2 is the number 2. So permission number 2 exist at gmail.com. And thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate your support. Let's see where our survey ended up. And then we will close out of here, you guys. So the survey final results. Have you as a woman ever experienced a man being jealous of you? 85% said yes, and 15% said not sure. There's 0% for no. So that's interesting. So either, yes, you know that a man has been jealous of you before, or you're not sure. It's kind of deep. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Thank you for everyone who participated in that poll. It's always very interesting to see those poll results. Let me take a screenshot because for whatever reason, it doesn't show up on the playback. Boom. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, with that, that was the name of that movie, Adolescence. Thank you. Thank you, Alexis. With that, it's been great catching up with you guys. I do hope to be back again soon because we have a lot to discuss regarding this war that we're in. Everything that I've learned since the war started, I'm very eager to share what I've learned with you guys. I feel like I really understand it now, so we'll be talking about that. And of course, we'll do another installment of this show because I still intend to do sick and dangerous men and the women who support them. So you can look for that installment on a future episode. But with that, I appreciate all of you so much. I hope you found this interesting and enlightening. Thank you for bearing with the tech issues. I probably will take this live stream down, edit it, and re-upload it as a video. So I will see you guys on that video. But until then, stay safe. Please get these folks out of your house. And we will talk again very, 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 very soon, okay? Bye.